It's lovely to be able to tune into what the planets are doing on a weekly basis and plan your day and focus your energy, but it's even more potent when you compare it to your own birth chart. So I wanted to say a few words about what is an astrology reading and the different types of reading that you can have. So if you've never had your birth chart done before, then please have a look at my What is an Astrology Reading video on the Learn Astrology playlist, because that will go into what it's all about, and there's some information on my website too. But essentially, your birth chart is the position of the planets at your birth, which creates a core fabric according to all the angles and dimensions. So that actually is something that you designed, that you wanted to work with. It's all the buttons that can be pushed inside you, it's all the talents and it's all the potential. And we can read that. So if you've never had your birth chart done before, that's the place to start, to actually be able to get to know your own chart and what it was that you wanted to focus on in this lifetime. After that, we can have a look at a forecast, which is taking your chart but seeing what's coming up with the current planets. And this gives you perspective and pacing, because some transits take a long time and other ones might just be for a couple of hours. So we can prioritise and pace ourselves. It's a little bit like a weather forecast. If you can see what's coming up, you can dress appropriately and act appropriately according to that phase. But it's also very cleansing, because you can let go of something that's finished without worrying and hanging on to it, thinking it's going to come back. So we can see what's coming up, how long for, what the energy's about, and how you can tune in and make the most effect. After that, there's a lovely reading which is to do with the moon cycles, because many people do things at the full moon, some people do things at the new moon, but they're dealing with the very generic full and new moons, just what that moon means to everybody. But you can actually have your own personal lunar calendar. Each new moon and each full moon and each dark moon in the year means something to you personally according to your own birth chart. So I can actually work with you to show you how you can actually plot a course throughout a year. Some full moons might highlight career, for example, and some new moons might be a time to start a new health plan. But that will be different between you and your friends according to your unique chart. So if we do this, you have 36 key moments in the year with 12 new moons, 12 full moons, and 12 dark moons, where you can initiate, reflect, and rinse accordingly to where that falls in your chart. And that way you're almost doing your yearly housekeeping. You're doing the right thing at the right time, and it leads to a sense of emotional harmony. The next reading I have is to do with deprogramming, because we've been programmed very, very heavily through the media and through society and through generations. There's decades of programming gone on where we're actually not the master of our own system. So it's very good for psychology, it's very good for personal health to actually have a look at some of the core beliefs that we're acting upon and bringing into our reality and manifesting. But it helps you, this reading, to go back and see the original core belief and whether it's true or not and what the options are, so that you can actually break free of decades of thought processes and beliefs that might not even be yours and that are manifesting things in your world that you don't want. So that's a kind of mental and physical health deprogramming reading that's on offer there. Another popular reading is the relationship realignment reading. So there's no set future, so this isn't about will I meet the right guy or will I get back with my ex. This is more to do with our perspective of the masculine and feminine. Are we being the complete, the divine aspect of ourselves to attract our complementary other? And again, there's a deprogramming aspect there to take all the fears out and the story of our relationship history, which is actually blocking us from connecting and flowing with the right soul. So a very popular reading there, relationship realignment, balancing the masculine and feminine and reconnecting to soul connection rather than personality clash. Then there's a soul purpose reading. We have actually many lives, and sometimes our past lives are affecting us, and sometimes our career isn't our sole purpose. This is another part of the program. Everybody seems to think, what should I be doing in life? But many charts show me that there's an essence of being, You can have a career, but that might not be your sole purpose. So what is it that you actually wanted to challenge yourself to become in this life? And that can be spiritual, that can be personal, that can be your effect on others, that can be lessons that you wanted to learn in order to expand your consciousness. So a soul purpose reading can look at your career potential as well, but it's more to do with what did you actually come here to step into. And then finally there are baby and pet charts, and they're smaller charts, but they're just looking at the young being and to see the potential that they're growing into. So with a baby chart, it's very, very useful for behavioural purposes. You can actually see whether they're going to need a tough discipline or whether they're going to need a more empathetic approach, whether they're going to be very, very sensitive. When they start to develop hobbies, which ones will actually be lasting and which ones will be phases, and how they fit in with the family dynamic with their siblings and their parents as well. And with the pet readings, that's just good fun for dogs in particular. That's good for training, but it's just nice if you've got a pet and you know their time of birth, their date of birth, then it's quite a nice reading to just get to know your little familiar a bit better. So those are the main readings that I offer. There are other ones, and you are welcome to have a combination of all of those. But I just wanted to let you know that those are the options, because some people get confused when they go to my page and they don't know which one's right for them. But you can always email me on the address below, and I'm happy to answer your questions.